Hello everyone, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Ultimate General Civil War for the Battle of Second Manassas. Earlier today we streamed the first two minor battles that lead up to the Battle of Second Manassas, and now we are at the culminating moment of the Battle of the Second Manassas campaign, the Battle of Second Manassas, or Second Bull Run, as it is sometimes called. Now, in the intervening time, amongst doing a few other things, it did go ahead and use the 13,000 manpower reserve that I had, the $180,000, to begin to build a third corps. It's not fully built out yet, but it is the, we've got the workings of a good corps in place. The first corps, we actually moved things around a bit, so I took the 3rd Division from the 2nd Corps and put it in the 1st Corps. That division has all rifled weapons, if you remember, so we've got 2 units with Harper's Ferries, 1 with Springfields, and then we've got a double artillery battery in that division. This division will be bearing the brunt of the Union attacks, and I thought an extra battery of smoothbore Napoleons would go a long way in helping its defense. Additionally, I moved the 3rd Division from the 1st Corps to the 2nd Corps because I believe that the 750 cavalry wouldn't be terribly useful in the Battle of Second Manassas during the defensive phase with that 1st Corps, but could become valuable during the counterattack phase as the sort of mimicking of Longstreet's corps coming onto the field occurs. So they could be useful in scouting out the Federal flanks, and so they're better assigned to the 2nd Corps. Meanwhile, I created a 3rd Corps under General James Longstreet. The 1st Division is fully built out. It is all equipped with smoothbore muskets, so 8,000 infantry, with 12 Napoleon artillery pieces in its artillery complement. The 2nd Division has some 4,000 infantry, again with smoothbore Napoleons. It has a cavalry brigade under Ammon, only 500 men because I used some of my prestige to purchase some Lamat revolvers. So I have a 500 cavalryman brigade with Lamat revolvers, and then a double battery of artillery again. Neither one full batteries. In this case, I had 9 10-pound Parrott guns I could bring into action. That's all the Parrotts I have. But they're actually really efficient. They're actually better than 3-inch ordnance rifles in this game. I think that's a little bit unrealistic in my view. The 3-inch ordnance rifle was kind of the pinnacle rifled piece of the war. The Parrotts had a bad tendency to blow up because of the weird band around their near their base. They were definitely maybe a little bit better than the 3-inch ordnance rifles at long range, but all around the 3-inch rifle was better. In this game, though, the 10-pound Parrott is slightly better for long-range work, and even, I think, short-range work, too, although I'd have to double-check that. The damage at short range, 33 accuracy, 33 fire rate, melee 10. The Parrott is slower firing rate, less accuracy, less melee. Alright, well, I guess the Parrott isn't better. 17,000 yards is its effective range, which is 200 more than the ordnance. The damage is 23 for the ordnance. For the Parrott, it is 25. So a little bit better damage for the Parrott. But the 2nd battery is only 4 guns, you may notice, but it's actually a 20-pound Parrott gun. Crazy high damage at 73, crazy range at 200, good fire rate at 25, pretty good accuracy for its damage level. This is a strong battery. Even though it's only 4 guns, you can see the damage is almost off the charts. Its efficiency also off the charts. When you compare that with the Napoleon, similar damage. The Napoleon's a little bit less, but its efficiency substantially less. Although its reloading speed is much slower on the 20-pound Parrott. Still, I'm interested to see what a 20-pound artillery piece will be able to do. It is in the 3rd Division, however, or 3rd Corps, however. These guys won't see the field till later in the day. Again, about 12,000 soldiers in this corps, 25 guns. The 1st Corps, which will make up the core of our initial defense, 96 guns, 22,120 men. 2nd Corps, 22,870 men with 72 guns. And then we've got that new 3rd Corps. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump in. No more money to spend. Reputation, there's nothing to spend it on that's worth it. We'll take the 3 morale boost, and we'll go ahead and fight the Battle of Second Bull Run, or Second Manassas. Following the recent events of Peninsula Campaign, a portion of our forces initiated a wide flanking maneuver and raided the Union supply depot at Manassas Junction. Pope's line of communications with Washington was threatened, and he had to abandon his defensive line at the Rappahannock River. We withdrew a few miles to the northeast and took up a defensive position on Stony Ridge, with hope to lure Pope into a trap. The rest of our army has left Richmond almost undefended to reinforce us and attack the unsuspecting Union army. It's a pretty good description of the Battle of Second Manassas. Alright, so our first corps is going to be the diversion, 25, up to 25 brigades. We've got 15 in that first corps, 22,458 men. The second corps will be the reinforcement corps, the main reinforcement corps. That'll be about 25,000 men. And then the third corps will also act as an additional reinforcement corps to bring our total forces up to about 63,496 men, 193 guns, 46 brigades, 8 divisions, 3 corps. So let's move on. Our raid to the Union's massive supply depot at Manassas Junction was a success. Indeed it was. This huge blow to their rear dislodged the Army of Virginia from the defensive lines along the Rappahannock River. We now move northwest to challenging them to follow. Oh boy, these big maps. General Pope, the new commander of the Army of Virginia, is isolated. This is a good location to set up a trap and attack him with all our forces before he's reinforced by General McClellan. Indeed, indubitably, very true. And now we wait. We took a big risk when we left Richmond undefended, but as we expected, McClellan did not attempt any offensive maneuvers on the peninsula. That's because he's not being led by the Butcher. The rest of our army will arrive tomorrow and deal a flanking attack to the unsuspecting Yankees. Currently, General Pope assembles his army and all reinforcements near Henry Hill. He will most likely have to withdraw to Washington to the northeast unless we do something about it. Okay? Let's do something about it. A diversionary attack would probably convince him to stay in the area and fight. That's logical. The division of Rufus King is heading to join Pope's main army through a small town of Grovetown. It's time to draw their attention. This, ladies and gentlemen, is where the Iron Brigade first had its original engagement. This was a stand-up fight in largely open terrain that had huge, heavy casualties. All right, so let's see here. What are the troops we have? Enfields. This is our first division in the first corps. Everybody has an Enfield. An Enfield for you, an Enfield for you. That's a very good weapon, is kind of where I'm going. All right, so we've got the Texas Brigade. I don't think we have to actually attack anything. I'm going to take the Enfield Brigade, which there's no point in even calling that anymore. I'm going to put the Enfield Brigade here in the town. The Union troops are kind of marching up this way, so they'll kind of probably come in on our flank over here. So I'm going to put the bulk of my forces in this wooded terrain over here. We're also going to put our artillery, or 3-inch ordnance rifles, in the town, but they'll hopefully have a little bit of a line of sight. The Butcher himself, yours truly, will be over here. Our supply wagon will also be over here. So I guess, actually, we need to be in a position where we can defend against an incoming attack, because that's what's going to end up happening. I don't even know how whatever, I don't even care. Let's go ahead and start. Alright, I don't even know how I angled my guys, but okay. Presumably, the Federals are going to come this way. I'm going to move them down in these woods, though. Hopefully, so the enemy's in the open and we're not. We'll keep the rifles back a bit. Oh, God, I didn't realize they were already in the town. Yeah. Retreat the hell out of that. Get out of range. I didn't realize they were already in the town. Now, these guys are horribly exposed. Can they retreat this way? Can you retreat this way double quick? Can you not retreat this way? Run the hell away. You're going to lose a whole bunch of men for no real purpose. Yeah, I thought I could I thought they'd be marching up this way and I could have troops in the town and surprise them, but obviously that was stupidity on my part. March the wide way. Quick. Quick. Guys move here in this woods, double quick that way. And you're in good cover. Hopefully the enemy is not. These woods look a little bit lighter, so... Yeah, there's still good cover, though. But Gibbons' boys are in the open. That's the Iron Brigade. Gibbons' Brigade is the Iron Brigade, so we just dealt them a bit of a blow. Doubleday and the skirmishers are set out in the open here. Presumably the troops in Grovetown are going to come around to try and deal us a blow. We'll just kind of keep these two brigades here, firing away, inflicting casualties. The rifled guns not doing as good as I'd hoped. They're definitely at longer range. Patrick's brigade. I'm assuming reinforcements of ours will arrive. There's Patrick, by the way. So the Enfield Brigade are going to sprint down here. Let's go ahead and switch your fire over to Patrick's Brigade. At least inflict some casualties on him while he's marching through the open. Alright, so Doubleday's driven off. Now it's just a conflict with some skirmishers. Okay. Texas Brigade back here at the double. Patrick's gonna form up. He's probably gonna try and charge. Imagine. Butcher, get back. Alright, so I've pulled one brigade from this front here, presuming that there won't be enemy troops attacking us sort of from the front. Now I've got two brigades dealing with Patrick here. Both in good wooded cover. Patrick's in the open. Why don't we go ahead and halt here? That's about where I need you. Two brigades firing, one into his flank, one from the center, and he's got some artillery firing straight ahead there pretty effectively. Patrick's brigade's routed. At least being driven back somewhat. I think he's still in range. Looks like it. Yeah, he retreated a little bit, but not out of range. Out of range of one of the guys, not all of them. The artillery's still punishing him a bit. Go ahead and bring the Texas Brigade forward to get a nice little volley in, hopefully without bringing him too far out of the woods. Yeah, they're still in reasonable cover there. A nice little double volley. Any damage we do now should also help us in the upcoming battle. Wow, these guys really hit effectively at longer range. Stay in your cover there. I'm not even sure if his men are in position to return fire. It doesn't look like they're even trying. Okay, there's a little bit of return fire there. I'm just trying, if I can destroy Patrick's brigade, that would be awesome. Eliminate them from the next phase of the battle, presumably. I assume if I destroy them now, they won't be there later. Casualties battle to battle don't seem to carry over at all, but at least, you know, within a battle, that should be possible, I assume. He's gonna be dead. I don't know why he's not retreating more. I don't know if it's the river. I don't know what it is. But whatever it is, I'm happy about it. 36 minutes left to hold our little farm here, Bronner Farm. Two more volleys into Patrick, and he is almost dead. Artillery probably finish him. Well, no. I'm guessing he could survive one or two more volleys. There's the one. The other two brigades aren't being engaged at all. And I'm not going to attack a city. I'm not going to attack a town. What are our objectives in this battle anyway? Hold the ridge, inflict at least 20% more casualties. Definitely doing that. Hold Henry Hill. Well, this is all we need to do. Hold Stony Ridge and inflict more casualties on them than they on us. We can do that. Where's the supply wagon? Why are we still at 100% supply? It feels like we shouldn't be. Alright. His brigade's gone. Destroyed in action. Salutations, the Purple General. Salutations indeed. Alright, so, I mean, I'd like to do that to more Yankee brigades, but that's the only one that's going to venture into our grasp. Trying to see here. Any way for us to get at this artillery? Maybe a flanking way? If I can knock out one of their batteries, that'd be awesome too. I don't know if I have enough time to do that. Probably could weaken them some, but I don't know if it's going to be worth the casualties the skirmishers are going to take to do it. Don't. No. Halt. Don't want you charging anything. Alright, let's just do it. Yikes. Okay, maybe not. Get a volley in and then retreat. Didn't really want you doing that. That was dumb. Good morning from England, Phil. Yeah, that just... Fire your damn volley already. What are you taking your time for? Oh my god, that was the dumbest ever. Literally just stood up there with fully loaded muskets. Ugh. Stupidity. I'm glad I could just get one of my brigades losing about 700 men. That kind of negated any advantage destroying their brigade had. Right, Arnold, you get the hell out of there. There's no reason to... You too. Texas Brigade, there's literally no reason to be taking these casualties. I'm dumb. That's the lesson I just learned. I'm stupid. Maybe we bait Gibbon here a little bit. I don't know. I didn't lose 700, and I lost like 400 still. If I can bait him to attack me, I'm all for that. Trying to melee me? God damn it, shoot your fucking weapons! Alright, whatever. Ugh. Okay, so that's the first day's fight. Our plan, or at least the early part of the first days. Our plan's going well. Pope took the bait and is preparing to attack us at Stony Ridge. We must hold the strong defensive position until reinforcements arrive. We expect the first forces late afternoon. So our two corps are approaching on the flank. The Federals are going to attack us toward the center, toward the front. It seems that Pope fell into our trap. He mobilizes his forces to attack. We spotted a large formation of infantry advancing from this direction behind Matthews Hill. There is also enemy activity from the southwards. Okay. Watch your flanks. Hold your ground, General. If we lose Stony Ridge before our reinforcements arrive, our plan will fail, and we will have to retreat. Okay. We must hold our position. Hold. Do I want to hold this rear line? I guess this line makes more sense to hold because the enemy has to come across open ground. I could advance toward this position here, use these woods, these railroad tracks and whatnot as defenses, but at least on the northern part of that line, the enemy's going to have a lot of cover as they come up to our positions. So I don't know... kind of think we put the 1855s here, maybe in this wooded area. Arnold's brigade here. Bull's brigade here. We'll put the Orphan brigade here on their flank. Maine's brigade here on their flank. Leave these guys in position over here. in case the enemy does attack from the south. Move one of these brigades up. Move some of the artillery forward as well. Maybe even using the wood line. I like the idea of a forward or defense. These rifles are kind of... I don't know if I like them here. We'll put them into this town. Move these supply wagons forward. The Lorenz Brigade, I suppose, can take a defensive line up here. Guess in that case we move them here. I like the idea, again, of a defense in depth, but it's just... I don't know how much I want to do that. Erg! We can... The woods in the north are what complicates this position. All right, let's do this. Let's get you guys into these defensive works. We'll get all the defensive troops into the defensive works. I think we'll leave these guys in their positions here in the south. I think that about does what I want for now. Napoleons, you're moving. Your wagons are moving. Butcher, you're going to want to be forward. Got 2 brigades in that wood line. Meanwhile, we're keeping these 2 brigades in position because I believe there's an enemy corps coming from this way. I just want to make sure I'm not outflanked. I can always fall back into the defensive positions there, but there's really no defense in depth on my far right flank or on the far southern edge of the map. Both of those guys are going for that position. We'll go ahead and get these guys in the woods in front. I think we'll go ahead and maybe send some skirmishers out just to give us a heads up when the enemy's approaching. If we can even get far enough forward to maybe take this wood line, it might make sense. I'd love to take... see if we can do that. Can we get to this wood line in time? I don't know if we can, but it might be worth a shot. I don't think we're going to get there. We won't have enough men, likely, either way. Certainly won't have it here. We're going to have to halt. Yeah, get back. Fall back. We'll let the skirmishers go that way, but... skirmishers are really just there to buy time. At the end of the day, that's what you're doing. You guys are too far forward. As much as I like the idea of having troops in that wood line, I don't think it makes sense. I like the idea of it, not so much the execution of how that would look. The Lorenz guys here, these woods aren't really as strong as I'd hoped. So I guess we put them behind our entrenchments. Right, Enfields. Fall back. Oh god. Don't die. So you held up Schurtz's division. Let's get a couple of brigades behind. I think the main attack's going to be in the north at the start. Yeah, I mean, I could fall back to this wood line. That would probably make the most sense. Even out of these trenches. But I like the idea of a defense in depth. I also like the idea that if any brigades approach this way, they're going to be in these open fields here. But I think that's what we're going to do. Alright, pull back to the Enfields. Artillery, I think you're in good position. Got a couple of brigades behind the melee, behind the lines, so if the enemy does try and melee us, we can fire these guys at point-blank range into them. I think we're in pretty good shape at the moment. Could send a brigade around their lines. I think that's a tall task, especially with as many reinforcements as they're going to be getting throughout the course of this fight. But we'll see. Texas Brigade, you see here, already inflicted over 800 casualties on the enemy yesterday. And they've got really good cover. That volley from Schlefling didn't really do anything. So he seems to be in good cover. Bring the supply wagon forward to help them out. Artillery over here, the 3-inch ordnance rifles. This is probably the best place for them. They're going to be engaging at a little bit longer range, and the enemy's going to be in a bit more cover. So we'll see. I know last time I played this was before the patch, and the enemy still had their sort of, I don't know if it was a bug per se, but their tendency to charge all the time. I don't know why my artillery is in this wood line all by themselves. That's probably a bad idea, huh? Why don't you pull that artillery back behind the line? Alright, so the melee charges have begun against the railroad cut. Rifled troops in the second ranks are ready to pour volley fire in. Our artillery's ready for some canister. 2 enemy brigades charging forward against our Enfields. Actually, make it a 3rd enemy brigade, so the melee tendency definitely still exists. Our troops are holding the line. Our troops in the second lines are also doing their jobs. Canister fire in the flank. Oh, they did drive the Enfields out. Then Hexamer's going to just move in and take the Enfield's position. You can see here, each of these brigades lost an astounding number of men there. 200 from that brigade, 200 from that brigade, 200 from that brigade. Now we just need the Enfields to reform a bit. We'll pull them forward here, and they'll be the rear of the line. I could move all the way back to the rear wood line, guys, but what's the fun in that? Come on. That's just not fun. Alright. I always find it interesting how this game handles trenches. It'll tell you have 100% cover sometimes, but you'll be better off in like 90% wood cover. It's just, it's not very clear a lot of the times. I'm hoping the enemy attacks Dole's troops, because then I can just move the Orphan and the Henny's brigade in on their flank. What's the Texas brigade doing? Losing more than I'd like. Yes, RD, you do need to see it from my point of view. The goal is to kill, right? Not to necessarily do it the most efficient way. A weird angle of fire for Arnold's brigade. Alright, where are these bad guys? Alright. Deployed some skirmishers in the Orphan Brigade so I can see where this other division is. Got 3 brigades here. Looks like McLean's moving forward to attack. I don't think he has any chance if he's going to just charge forward. They don't have enough troops to really mass over there, I don't think. Meanwhile, Schultz's division, I think, lost too heavy in their casualties were too heavy in that initial assault. Almost 1,000 men. don't think they're going to be able to overwhelm us till they've got more casualties. Or reinforcements, more like it. See if we can move the Orphan Brigade here to fire into McLean's flank a bit. Yeah, there you go. Alright, everybody, that's going to do it for part 1 of my look at the Battle of Second Manassas, fighting against the Confederates during the Grand Campaign of Ultimate General Civil War. This was part 17, I think it is, of the overall campaign, but the first in the Battle of Second Manassas, which we're now fighting. We fought the first day's action, which kind of lured the Union into attacking, and now we've gotten the beginning of their attacks on our defensive works underway. In tomorrow's video, we'll go ahead and take a look at the remainder of this day's fighting and perhaps the early part of the next day's fighting and in the Battle of Second Manassas. With that being said, guys, as always, I hope you've enjoyed this video and leave your thoughts below. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.